What's up, guys? Didn't see you there.
Oh, what's up, everybody? It's your boy, the Cooking Gamer here. The Shotgun Cooker. Okay, it's more like that. But you might be wondering, hey, this isn't your usual setup. What is this? This looks like a kitchen. Well, that's because it is. Because today I'm going to show you how to cook a great meal. The Sopranos style lasagna.
What the fuck is that?
And the reason why it's called that is because it's packed with flavor. It's really long to finish, and once it is, it's so good. So the first thing we're going to do is obviously wash our hands and wash the vegetables. And if you don't know how to wash a vegetable, just think about it when you're showering, because that's probably the closest thing to a vegetable you've gotten to cleaning. So what you're going to be needing for ingredients is that you're going to be needing white onions, you're going to be needing some green peppers, you're going to be needing some white mushrooms, mozzarella, obviously the lasagna sticks, and some classico basil. It has to be basil and tomato because that's just where the tomato flavor's coming in. And of course, you're going to be needing a big pound of hamburger. Not a lot of hamburger, but just like enough to fill up a pot. Your cutlery you're going to be needing is going to be suitable, like a knife or just a big pan. You want to be able to fill in as much ingredients into one spot as you can. The noodles can step up to the side as well as the mozzarella. Now, the first thing you're going to want to be doing is after you clean your vegetables is just get straight to cutting them up. Now, the type of knife I use is nothing too big. It's just your regular old just cutting knife. You want to keep it away from your fingers, obviously, whenever you're cutting it. But whenever you see the stem right up here, you can throw out the top. The top is not going to be a big deal, but the stem is. So just because we wash our hands, we can use our fingers, and you just have to pick it out. Now, you see the seeds inside the middle of it. You're going to want to try and dig those out as well. Tap them out if you can, because, you know, you're not going to be eating the seeds. It's okay if you leave 1 or 2 seeds in there. Just try and get as many out as you can. There's one right here on the bottom, and that one's going to go too. Make sure that your pepper looks something like this. You see, like, I got a seed right in there. It's not like a big thing. Now that I noticed it now, I'm just going to try and pick it out. I might as well with this one. And after that, you're just going to want to clean off your tray. Dumping all your stuff in. I just spilt every single seed. So the next thing you're going to just be cutting it just on the sides. Actually, cut down the middle first, just so you can have 2 separate pieces of the pepper. And now we're going to be cutting. So how I like to cut it is just simply like side down. Now, obviously, we're going to be using this this pepper technique for most of the vegetables we use, but the main idea is that we're just using it in strips. You know what I'm saying? So just make sure that your strips are down somewhat like this, so that you're able to cut them up, and then you use this one. Now keep it like this while you're cutting it as well. You're obviously going to need a bigger cutting board than me. I'm budgeting. It's my first cooking video. I'm a big time underdog, so make sure you subscribe to the channel so that I can get bigger cutting boards so I can make more lasagna. The next part of the piece is that we're going to want to mix them up. So just put them all together just like that, and just kind of run down the line with it. Just double check, make sure that everything's all going good with it. Like, you can make the mess. Like I said, we'll be cleaning the kitchen later, so just make sure that you maybe got a clean cover top or something like that. Alright, that is everything. Now it's time for the other piece. This piece right here. The big piece. Bam. Big pan. Now when you got the big pan, you're going to want to be getting the meat out. Where's the meat out? Where did I put the meat there? So the meat is going to be a separate piece altogether. It holds basically the entire mentality of just lasagna together. The main aspect you want to keep inside of it is that it is just so the hamburger is just a big piece of the lasagna. Alright, time for a piece of the hamburger. And now we're going to be covering it up with a couple of the peppers. Now make sure This is not very stable, but you just want to make sure that it's just like nice. So now that the peppers are flaunted in, the next piece of the puzzle is going to be the onion. Now the onion is the same idea as the green peppers, as in you just want to cut off the top part. But how I like to do my onions might be a little bit different from what other people will say to do, because, like, you know, it's cooking. You can take whoever's opinion you want. But I always take off the flabby skin bit. I feel like that with this onion, there's already so much, like, red flaggage that's going on already with it just being a giant, bad-smelling vegetable. So, I usually just take off I usually just take off the onion. You know, I just take off the onion skin. It's got layers. It's like an oak, you know. Next, we're going to be cutting up the onion. So, this stem right here, this has got to go. The stem is going to be go. Okay. And now the next part is this back stem here. Now, some onions may not have a back stem. Hello, everybody. Sorry, guys, for that interruption. I had to re-clean my my cooking utensil because I used it for something that wasn't cooking related. But now that it's clean again, I can go back to showing you how to cut this onion. I changed the camera angle a little bit. I was told that it might be a little bit better. I might change it back again. Cooking is all about the meaning of perspective. So whenever you're cooking an onion, you can do it one of two ways. You can either do it down this part through the middle, or you can do it down this part through the top and the side. So I'm going to do it by the top and the side, just simply because I really don't care. It's how it's supposed to be chopped up anyways. Ugh. Oh, okay, perfect. I have a great reason why you should do it from the sides preferred than the top. Is because of this. You see these overlays right here? So these are like your rings, your onion rings, okay? So if you were to cut it up from the top, I have a very strong feeling that your onion rings would actually just straight up split up. So you cook it from this side. Our onion's really juicy. That's gross, but that's okay. So cut it in from the side right here. The thinner the pieces, the better, because the onion's got like a really strong taste to it. You've smelt an onion before, right? So, like, they taste as good as they smell. So just cut them, like, good enough. God damn. These onions are tough, man. Watch the fingers. As cooking taught me, is that you should always make sure to cook something right, because if you don't, then you'll be wasting food. By the way, this is a $50 recipe. So if you want to cook it at home, yeah, you might want to do it right if you're using $50 on it, you know. Wouldn't be very bright to use $50 and cook it wrong. So my first mess up right here, and this is to show you that I'm a very genuine chef and you should be listening to me, is that these parts right here, I cut them way too long. So I'll just cut them in right in there. So bada bing, I just saved my onions. Onion. Shoot. Alright, so next bit is just the chopping bit. Chop, 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 chop. Like I said, these cutting boards are way too small. I should have preemptively got bigger cutting boards, because this is like my entire onion. Cooking here. God damn it. So a couple of big pieces are still going to be there, but the main aspect of it is that it's just cut. It's just cut. Okay, it's just cut. And now we're going to be dumping the first bit of the onions in, this onion. And now that we are finished with onion number 2, we will swiftly move on to onion number 1. Now I believe that this onion has not been skinned yet, so we'll just do that right quick. The peak aspect of skinning an onion is just simply finding the weak skin, per se, the sloppy tear. Whoa! Hey! Hey, that's not so bad. That is not a bad onion. That is not a bad onion. We will give that a 10 out of 10 on the onion meter. David, show the onion meter. That's a good onion. Alright, same aspect as all of them. So, what I'm going to do is a little bit better. So, I'm going to cut these pieces so much thinner than what I did with the other pieces. And a good motion for cutting is the same thing with moving a chainsaw. Now, if you don't know how to cut something, I don't even think you'd know what a chainsaw is. So let me just explain to you the cutting method. So what we start off with is right in front of here. We cut downward, so it'll slice through, and then we simply move it back to get the other pieces. And now, you got a nice little cut. Obviously, you'll get your own cutting method when you work with it. You can also use what I just did there. I like to call it the thumb cut. So it's just simply pushing down the knife rather than getting the whole cut. These back bits are a little bit suckier, so you'll have to do something like that. I'm going to be maneuvering my onion, onion 360 mode. Just going to be finishing cutting the friggin' thing. So these back bits are obviously going to be a lot harder to cut, but that's fine. As you can see right here, I'm blocking it with my hand. I just noticed that, so we're just going to move this camera angle around here to the other side, so the cutting can just get a little bit nicer. Same thing with our last onion. Same thing with every other onion, is that it's just simply cutting it to pieces. The onion has been cooked. This video is going to be very long if I don't figure out a good way to cut it. If I don't find a good way to cut it? Am I not the king of jokes or what? I'm on fire today. First things first. You're looking at your piles of onions and you're saying, dang, these are a lot of onions. I'm here to tell you that that is A-okay. Okay? You're supposed to have a lot of onions. The onion is a powerful taste, but it comes powerful in groups, okay? So, you're looking at your onion and you're like, dang, my onion overpowered it. And that's simply because an onion is much thicker than a pepper. Okay, so if you were to take a, oh yeah, compare it to this, Next thing's next. Shrooms. Now these ain't the type of shrooms your grandpappy's was doing in the 70s over in Vietnam. These are white mushrooms, okay? So the best thing about white mushrooms is that they're edible. You can eat them. So the first things first is that we're just going to be cutting off the stems right here. Wow, that was an awful job. Oh, no, it's cool. So the stems are something that it's not that you can't eat them, it's just that, you know, kind of gross if you did. I yanked out these little stems on the inside of them as well. They're going to kind of look like this. Just tear them out on the inside so they're hollow. Hollow number 1, hollow number 2. Now the other bit about these mushrooms is that you're just going to want to cut them normally. So, cut, cut, cut. Second with this one, just cut it. So the mushrooms are not going to be too much. We just need 2. And I screwed it up because now they're not aligned anymore. But it is just the same as everything else. You just got to cut it. Now they're going to feel really like weird. And that's just because they're friggin' mushrooms. Mushrooms are gross. Cut up some more, cut up some more. And cut up a little bit more. Now you really only need 2. But this doesn't look like a lot of mushrooms, even to the master chef like moi. So I'm actually going to get out 2 more mushrooms. So we're just going to take these pieces, take them off to the side here, and then swap it out with another cutting board. So we're going to get 2 more mushrooms. We're going to get 1 more like this, and then we're just going to get 1 more like this. Now that's a solid looking mushroom. David, can we get another of the, what did I call it? Chop it. Get the stem out. Chop it. Hey, stem's already out. So the mushrooms that I usually get are not even this like high quality. I couldn't find the off-branded mushrooms I usually get, so we're just sticking with these ones for now. Okay. One of the things I like to do while I'm cooking is I like to listen to music or watch my show. I used to cook a lot of my food while I watched the Sopranos. I cooked a lot of my lasagna watching the Sopranos. And whenever I finished that, I was mad because now I'm like, okay, what am I gonna cook lasagna with? Or who am I gonna cook lasagna with? And then I was like, hey, how about I make a video about it? And then here I am making a video about it. So now that these bits are done and cut, we're gonna mix them together with just these ones. I'll just make sure that it's all good. What? Oh, did I put them in with this one? Alright, beautiful. Beautifully cut. And then we're gonna mix it in with these ones. This would be the look of your final product. It is supposed to be looking a little like everything other than the onions, but that's okay because the next thing we're going to be doing is that we're going to be cooking it. I'd say that's pretty well about done, so let's take another little peek around the meat-a-roni, and I'd say that we pretty well just finished cooking with it. Alright guys, I found it, the drainer. So the drainer is going to be very important with this next step, because this next step is kind of low-key very, very important. It is one of the main aspects that you're going to be doing whenever you're cooking. So let this sit off the side. And now let's drain it out. Now this drainer's kind of small. Oh, frick, how am I supposed to do this? Take a little bit of this. So that you shake it all out. Shake it all out right over here. And you dump it right in here. Now I'm going to move this whole bit a little bit closer here. So that way it doesn't drip everywhere. Alright guys, we're going to have to make some sacrifices that we wouldn't do otherwise. It'd be so much easier to just put it in the drainer, but I am unable to locate a big one. I only have this stupid tiny one, which is just unacceptable for the amount of cooking we're doing. So with this type of grease coming from the hamburger, usually what we would do, or what we would be able to do, you just put it into the drainer and then you just dump it so that's what you pick up all this stuff. You pick up the steps. Because it is grease, we're not able to dump it down the drain because that's when you have grain problems. Now that's a big thing. Don't dump your grease down the drain because you will have drain problems. With grease, it tends to get a little bit thicker. So what you're going to want to do is that you're just going to want to take every bit of grease done right. Now we are actually all done with pan. Now let's just shift to this. And I think we're actually all done with the spatula too. Look at that. That is 2 for 1. Count them. 2 for 1. Okay? Now the next thing is that you're going to want to make sure that everything's put in here correctly first of all. Now the next thing you're going to want to use is actually the basil sauce, okay? Now if you're strong like me, you can open it up easy. Now you're going to want to just dump all of it right in there. She's got a bit of a splash radius, so that's good. Next thing's next, you're going to want to need one of these bad boys. One of these bad boys. Where are these bad boys at? Bam! Spoon. Now for the spoon, it's quite nice. All you have to really do is just kind of spread it around. It's easier to just scoop from the bottom and flip to the top. I'm going to be motioning around this. Now, the type of smell you should be getting from this is legitimately just like what Mama used to make, you know. This recipe that I just showed you right here is your absolute foundation for basically any kind of big time Italian food you want to be cooking, right? This is your sauce, okay? This is what you want, and this is what you want it to look like. And if it was 4K, I bet you'd want to know what it actually kind of smells like. So cook it up, and bam. That is your sauce. Okay. The sauce is done. That is where the majority of the ingredients come from. The next bit of the ingredients that you're going to want to be needing is not this, but it is actually the big boys themselves. The noodles. Now with the noodles, it's pretty basic. You just kind of stack them, right? And I'm talking stacking them like by 6 pieces. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You can use any type of pan or any type of pot or any type of like little glass container you want. Obviously, you're going to want to use a tin, like a container. You know what I mean? Not a tin container. You can use a tin container. I use a glass one. It's just a little bit nicer. But whenever it comes to cooking it, the other big thing. Sorry guys if I cut out a little bit. I still have the footage saved here on my phone. But I'll just reiterate what I said in case I lost it. I had to delete a couple things. Rest in peace, Grand Theft Auto 4 on my computer. I'll have to re-download it later. But I'll just reiterate what I said. You're going to want to get a glass container. Just because in my opinion it's a little bit better than tin. You can throw it in your tin if you want, but you just cook it in the glass. You just get to reuse it, you know, clean it. I stack my noodles by 6. You can put however many you want, but the main idea is that you just want it to fill up your glass container and you want it to be good. Lastly, big pot. Now as you're putting them into the pot, it doesn't really go against any sort of part of nature where it's, oh, there's too many noodles, not big enough pot. One, the pot's always going to be big enough for them. Okay. And secondly, don't think about taking out any kind of noodles after you've measured it, because you'd have to, you know, it's just simpler just to throw them all into the pot. Alright, our water is just about done boiling, and once it starts to boil, it's just going to be as simple as just putting your noodles in, poking it a little bit with a fork. You want to make sure that every single bit of your noodles are like just noodle-like, you know, like they're floppy, they look pretty good, you know, you just want to make sure that they're actually tangible. Now, if 1 or 2 of them aren't tangible, you know, like they're not the fullest of the full, that's fine. You just want to make sure that at least over 80% of your noodles are noodleable. You want to make sure that a lot of them are noodleable, okay? So these are essentially the 3 parts that you're going to need. Sauce, lasagna, and mozzarella. Now what you're going to start off with first is that you're going to start off with the sauce. Now you're just going to want to put a little bit and just spread it around at the bottom of the pan. Because once you do that, then you can understand the man at the bottom of said pan. I believe that was Edgar Allan Bro that said that. Next bit, take the piece of lasagna and just kind of ring it with your fingers and then lay it at the bottom. Do the same thing again. Take the piece, blow on it. It's kind of hot. It was just like legitimately just barely right out. There you go. And then just one more piece. And then next you slap it with some of the sauce. And the idea with the sauce is that you just put sauce in the bottom, and that's simply, or I guess saucely, just so you can be able to make sure that it doesn't stick to the bottom of the pan. Alright, same thing with everything else. Make sure that lasagna does not stick to the bottom. A little tip, conserve as much sauce as you can, because we're going to be tanking them at the last little bit of it, alright? Sauce is good, sauce is pretty good. And the next thing, sprinkle it with a little bit of cheese. Now I can't believe that I didn't even open this yet. This has to go how professional I am. Take a little bit of the cheese, and then sprinkle just a little bit around. Now it might be lacking a little bit right now, but trust me, this is how it works. Okay. Don't be a hater. Now with our lasagna fully done, we need to put it in the oven. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put the oven on bake, and then I'm going to put it for 425. Now the only other part after that is that it just gets to cooking, which is pretty well the boring part of it. But once it's done, I'll let you know. What I'm going to do is that I'm going to put the oven on bake, and then I'm going to put it for 425. Now the only other part after that is that it just gets to cooking, which is pretty well the boring part of it. But once it's done, I'll let you know.
Alright boys, approximately 47,000 years has passed, and the lasagna is finally done.
Now, this is the reward. Ooh. Look at that. That is what you want your lasagna to look like. Obviously, you're going to want to get the oven mitts. And then you yank her out. Boom. I cannot believe, and you probably won't either, that this process has taken me approximately an hour and a half of cooking. And this is what you get. This nice stellar bisque and stacked lasagna. Now this is essentially your Soprano style lasagna. It looks good and it tastes good. And just like that, this is your Soprano style lasagna.